Hi friends, hope your summer is going well so far and that you had a great June. What are you doing so far this summer? Is anyone going on vacation? Are you just staying home? Anybody doing a staycation? Do you go to the pool? What do you do in the summertime? Let me know other than reading, and I would love to know what you're reading. Please leave that in the comments. But let's get started with what I read in the month of June. Okay, so first I'm just gonna rip the band-aid off and get this over with. I had a very disappointing DNF. I read The King's General by Daphne du Maurier, who, as you know, I really love a lot of what Daphne du Maurier writes. And this is a historical fiction type book. And it was just absolutely awful for me. And it was awful for my buddy readers, Dia and Courtney. Dia from Novel Idea and Courtney from Courtney Reads. We just did not like it. We hated the characters. And so you may not hate it. You may love it. I have heard of other booktubers liking it. But this was not for any of us. The characters were not likable. There was one likable character, and he was like a real historical character that I liked, and he died pretty early on. So I got 6 chapters in before I DNF'd. I think Dia got, I got 9 chapters in before I DNF'd. Dia got in 11 and Courtney got in 6, and then we were done. So that was disappointing. I was sad. I love Daphne du Maurier. Read Rebecca, read My Cousin Rachel, read Jamaica Inn maybe first before you try this one, but you may love it, so don't just completely take our words for it. I had a couple of good buddy reads, and it wasn't the buddy readers that were bad for that first one. It was the book. The Lost Fairytales, which is the second book in Pages & Co. series, which is a book wandering series. And this one, we have a little lovely girl named Tilly who her grandparents' store is the medium where she finds out about this world. And so this one takes us more into fairy tale characters, fairy tale stories. It did have some plot holes, I will tell you that, and some questions that like the characters could have very easily kind of answered themselves they didn't address. So that's the only problem, but I was willing to go for it just because it was such a sweet story, having such a good time. Anna James is the author of that one, and I read it with Chatty and Bandana Book Mom. All right, so the next buddy read that I have was Agnes Grey, and this is by Bronte, and I read this with Chrissy from Chrissy's Purple Library, and this was just a lovely, lovely book. I have read Tenants of Wildfell Hall by Bronte as well before, and I loved that one. I would say that that is a little bit higher up on my list because the character development is deep, but the plot is a little bit more of an exciting plot. Agnes Grey deals with a young lady named Agnes. She has come from an absolutely wonderful family. Her parents love each other. They're on hard times financially. She wants to do her part, so she decides to governess. We delve into the classes and the classism and the danger of marrying your kids off to like the wrong person for status and money, and we have just such an example of good moral fiber in Agnes and her family contrasted against these people. I really loved that about the story. I adored the ending. Part of me just wanted a little bit more like we would have gotten from her sister in Jane Eyre, just a little bit more of a mystery or something going on plot-wise, a little bit deeper. But I definitely would consider this a very loved classic now, and I'm sure I will revisit again. And Christy and I had the best time together just talking about the book and everything else in life. All right, Dandelion Wine. This is the next one I'm going to talk about. This is by Ray Bradbury. This is my first Ray Bradbury read, and I should have known that this one was going to have some weirdness to it because I have seen as a child, I saw something Wicked This Way Comes, which is based on a Ray Bradbury book. But this is not horror, although you could see how it could lean towards that and other stories that he would tell because of the strange, almost grotesqueness of some things. But I'm not explaining this well at all. Really, the story is lovely. Coming of age story. We have a young boy and he's in a small town America in the summertime, and just family relationships, love, lots of discourse on technology. I mean, this was written way long ago, and this is discourse on how technology is making us not use our brains, not connect to others, try to make things too perfect, try to fix things when we should just let them play out. It is a beautiful discourse on that, beautiful relationships. And I don't know, there's just something really special about this book, and it is so odd and strange too. And I can really get into odd and strange sometimes when it's the right book. So I highly recommend. All right, in this moment, this is the second book in the Timeless series by Gabrielle Meyer. I liked the first one a lot. I love the second one. We have 3 different historical periods of time we're dealing with this time traveling lady, and I won't tell you even the time period because I think it is more beautiful to fall into it. She writes characters so well. The plot is so interesting. I really would recommend the second book even more than the first one. We'll see how the third one goes for me. All right. A Fire Endless by Rebecca Bross. This is the second book in the duology that starts with A River Enchanted. We have a lovely romance. We have fire magic, earth magic. It's relatively clean, even though we have a married couple in this story. That is the romance. We don't get into the details of their bedroom. The door is closed on that. I really like it, but if you tend to stay away from stories about magic because you feel convicted to stay away, like as a Christian or something, you might not like this one. All right, Dragondrums by Mcaffrey. I'm telling you, this series starts with Dragon Song, Dragon Singer, and ends with Dragondrums. The first 2 focus on a young lady named Meneley. Now, this is her best friend that she's made, and he is a singer who definitely has a lot of talent, but he's at that age where his voice is changing. They thought he had more time. He is devastated, but they put him with Dragondrums, which is how the drums is how they communicate with like the dragon riders. There's lots of dragons, fire lizards in these stories. It is absolutely wonderful. This was a beautifully well done coming of age story that deals with how you deal with jealousy, growing up, responsibility, but I didn't feel quite as connected to this one as I did the first 2, just because I related to Meneley a lot more than I did to this young boy. Understandable, because I was a young girl, not a young boy at one point in time, and so this is why I think I liked the first 2 a little better. But it was still a beautiful story. Loved the dragons, and I loved the characters. All right. Then my kids and we went on a little house fun time, and we did On the Banks of Plum Creek, which is one of my favorites. This is the one where we get the, country by the creek, but you also get some more townspeople interaction. And I love how we see Pa deal with like a disaster that comes for the crops in the form of locusts, and just like how they pull together as a family and they support each other. And then we got through that, and I was going to read Redwall to my kids, if you guys remember my June TBR video, but the recording that we got, the audiobook, was hard for us to understand some of the accents. And it's hard to hear through my Kindle when we were driving. So we're going to get an audio CD from the library. I will get to Redwall. So instead we replaced that one with On the Shores of Silver Lake, which is after that in the series. We won't be reading anymore for a while because the next one in the series is The Long Winter. We're going to wait till probably January to do that one. But On the Shore of Silver Lake, it's kind of sad because you're dealing with Mary being blind, but I love the relationship between Laura and Mary and how Laura wore her eyes. I cannot wait to get through this series because I'm waiting till I'm done. My friend Reading in Darkness did a review of all the books. So I can't wait to hear her perspective about Mary. I know Mary grates on her about Mary and her journey with blindness. I can't wait to hear her perspective on the whole series. So yeah, if you've read the Little House series, go check out Reading in Darkness review of the whole series. I'm sure it's very interesting. All right, my kids and I also did Sarah Plain and Tall. Of course, this is a reread for me. I had never read it to them though. I love it. Sarah comes as a mail order bride, and we deal with her missing the ocean, the father learning to give up a little bit of control, the daughter remembering her mother. The younger son can't remember the mother and just wants this lady to be his mother right away, and how they become a family. I'm sure I'll be reading the rest of the books in the series. Then I have only read Sarah Plain and Tall, so the rest of the books will be new to me. But I just love this book so much. Patricia MacLachlin is such a beautiful, simple writer. All right. And then Mother Carey's Chickens. We are still working on this. Is a book that the book Summer Magic is based on. We just have a lovely family coming through adversity, moving out to the country. Just there's some humor in there. If you have read it, you know that the children try to get rid of this sculpture called Dirty Boy, and that just cracked my kids up. So I hope you guys had a great reading month in June. I hope you read a lot in July. Don't forget to let me know what you're up to, what you're reading, and what you're loved in June and what you're planning on reading in July. Read a lot. Bye-bye.